this week, did very well in round 1. The rookies, Ed Curnow, you can see his break-evens are massive, so his price is going to skyrocket. So if you've got a rookie on your bench in the midfield that's not doing anything, definitely Ed Curnow should be a must for upgrade, just to later on, round 5, 6, 7, to upgrade one of your middle tier midfielders using him as a cash cow. Same with Tom Liberatore, having an excellent first few games, and is playing Gold Coast this week. Luke Tapscott having an excellent start to his AFL career, and you can see his break-even points there are relatively high. And so you can see there also that his value is much higher in Supercoach than in Dreamteam, but with those values, he will definitely skyrocket in value also. Ditto Dyson Heppel, having an excellent season for the Dons, also a multi-position player, so with those break-evens and multi-position player, hard to get him out of your team, but also if you haven't got him and you've got some dual position defenders, put him into your midfield maybe, give you some flexibility and maybe save a trade at some point in the multi-buy rounds where there's 3 teams having a buy, give you some flexibility. Robbie Tarrant had a poor second week after a brilliant first one, so keep an eye on him. He's also got the bye this week, so his value won't move, so you'll have to keep an eye on him after round 4 and see how he goes. But I'm not sold on Robbie Tarrant. I think the first game might have been an elaboration, and maybe his average is more around about the 50s or 60s. Rowan Buick I've put in here. He'll play most games for the Lions this year as they blood a lot of young players, and his break-evens are good, so his price will go up, so he's a guaranteed. But again, he won't average very high scores, but you can guarantee pretty much that he'll be there for you if you need him in an emergency for injuries or buys. Nick Lower had a poor second week, was a sub, so his price went down, but expect his points to go back up when he plays full game time. So not too much to worry about with Nick Lower there, and his break-evens are excellent for cash cow value. Shane Savage is one that's that I kind of been noticing over the last couple of weeks for the Hawks, especially against Adelaide. I thought he was very good, and his break-evens are good, so he's worth an option as a cash cow also. Jack Darling as a forward, he is averaging very good. He's ready to play. He's built like a man, and will average around the 70 mark I think this year. So for an emergency forward on your bench, I don't think you can go too far wrong, and that's indicated in his break-even stats there, both minus 60 in Dreamteam and minus 82 in Supercoach. So definitely will make you some money. And Nicholas Dugan. Same as Jack Darling, he's a mature age player, so he's ready to go. Another one that'll make your money down back if you need a defender back there. Jared Irons, he's struggling a bit to get out of the 50s obviously by his averages, but his price will go up, so if you've got him and you don't really need to do anything, then keep him. But if you can, I'd say if you've got Irons, you haven't got Curnow or Liberatore, then I would move in one of those two quickly this round in replacement of Irons, just to make some extra money in the longer term. And Simon Buckley, I've put him in here. The odds are that he'll be out this week as Nick Maxwell comes in, but as a dual position player he still holds some value. But if he's in your team, don't trade him out until he gets his 3rd game, I suppose. But when he does get it, his price will go up. Alright, let's have a look at the injuries for this round. And you see the key injuries. There's no real new ones for Adelaide. Kurt Tippett's 50-50 this week. We'll see when their teams are selected how he goes. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Sam Jacobs is still a week away, and Paul Pleasure's obviously out, and Sloane's still a way off. Jonathan Brown 8 weeks, and Brent Staker, we'll know when he's come back, but he's probably not worth bringing back in anyway, coming back from a knee. Cruiser back in 2 or 3 weeks, so you dare say coming back from a knee, his price will drop over the first few weeks, and then later on he'd start dropping. So look for his price to bottom out a little bit when he comes back, and then see if you can bring him in if you need a backup in your rucks. David Hill, 1 to 2 weeks, definitely out this week, so it's no good. Angus Monfries, we'll see how he goes. Barlow still no real news on when he's going to be back. Mazungu's going to be a mid-season upgrade still. Mackenzie and Scully both a fair way away from Melbourne. And Bastanak and McIntosh, no real news on their return dates this week. Ben Jacobs, one to put on your watch list, as I've said before. Keep an eye on him, see how he goes. Dominic Cassisi, a lot of people would have had him in your team. It looks like he's got a broken leg, so he's a few months away. Lenny Hayes, the big one that's gone out this week. Whilst it's sad for Lenny and stuff, not too much of a hassle for Dream Team as a Supercoach. It's pretty easy to go to Hodge or Selwood or any number of premium grade midfielders, so not too bad. Macheski's still a while away, as to Elakar, Maston. Waters, as a defender, has hurt his elbow again that kept him out for a year and a half, I think. So he's out for another 10 to 12. Disappointing. Looked like he was having another good year. But so for all you fantasy football people out there, you'll have to look at a trade for him. And when you look at it, maybe Lindsay Gilbey might be an option, as he is coming back this week with Brian Lake, I believe, against the Gold Coast. So I'd probably wait for both of those, even though it's against the Gold Coast. I don't think they're both going to be in top form, although apparently Lindsay Gilbey did very well in the reserves last week. And Ryan Hargrave is still a while away. Okay, and on to the now the ins and outs for round 3. So let's have a look. We'll have a see who's the key in. Nick Maxwell comes in for the Pies. Simon Buckley, who's a dual position rookie, is out, so take note of that in your team. Andrew Collins comes in for the Tigers, for the Blues from the Tigers, so keep him an eye on him on your watch list. No one notable out there. Brian Lake and Gilby both in, so keep an eye on how they go in that game. For the Gogger, some guys might have Michael Code on their bench, but Josh Fraser and Josh Toy have both been dropped from the Gold Coast, so interesting one, Josh Toy. He did alright when he came on, I thought, so we'll see how that goes. Adelaide, some Kurt Tippett's the main in there, but there are a couple of outs. Paul Pleasure we know about with his injured Sloan with his jaw, and I don't think many people would have Doherty in their team. Jaden Pitt, young rookie for Fremantle, has come in. Next one's Grimes in for Tigers. Cyril Rioli out, so make sure you put him on your bench if you got him in. Only out for 1 week. Replaced by Xavier Ellis. Beau Waters, as we spoke about, injuries, out for the Eagles. Sydney and Melbourne. Melbourne have got a lot of ins. James Strauss, Jordan Gisbert, Carl Morton, Wanamiri, all worth keeping an eye on in your watch list and see how they go. Especially Jordan Gisbert. He had a massive first game in his career. And there's also a lot been spoken about James Strauss, so keep an eye out on how they go for Melbourne. Cornelius and Pollock come in. So Pollock was was Brisbane's #1 draft choice in last year's draft. So he would have been on most people's benches as they built their team over the summer, but then was left out for the first couple of games, despite some reasonably good NAB Cup form. So interesting to see how he goes. So keep an eye on him. And then finally, the last couple of games, Joel Selwood's back, and Matthew Scarlett's back for the Cats. Andrew Mackey's out though, and so is Wojcinski, so keep an eye on those defenders in your team. Port Adelaide, Motlop's in, Selapek's in, Surgeon's in, Hartlett's in. So 4 names which might have been in a lot of people's formulas early on for their teams, and possibly even in their teams. So very interested in Hamish Hartlett out of those 4. I think he's got the makings of a great fantasy footballer for everyone's teams out there. And the ever consistent Dom Cassisi is out, so keep that in mind. St Kilda, Cozzy's back, Schneider. Young Jack Stephen played well in St Kilda 2s last week, so keep an eye on him. And Lenny Hayes, of course, out with a knee. And then a few ins there for Essendon, most notably Angus Monfries. And probably keep an eye on Brent Prismal as well and see how he goes in the new James Hird era. That's all the key ins and outs for this week. Now we'll just have a quick recap on how my team's going. Supercoach, so-so, 7,000s at the moment, 2147 points. So made a couple of changes this week, so we'll see how that goes. And also the Herald Sun Supercoach, not that good, pretty kind of mediocre, but enjoying the leagues in Supercoach, competitive stuff. So yeah, still enjoying Supercoach. So that's it for this week. Hope your teams go well. Remember, tomorrow night, 40 minutes before the game, they'll name their sub, so keep that in mind. I've got a funny feeling about Ed Curnow this week, but that's maybe just my sixth sense. Don't know. And next week we'll be looking at round 3. We'll do the wrap up and look ahead to round 4, where there'll still be some rookie moves to possibly be done as well if you need to. Okay, that's it, guys. See you next week.